On today's episode, Austin and Tim travel back in time to 1971 to watch 5 horror films from the early 60s? Yes, you heard it right. The full 8 movies that they watched on that day are the Don Knotts comedy How to Frame a Fig, the horrific, nightmarish kiddie movie PUFNSTUF. Sidney Poitier reprises his cop character, Virgil Tibbs, in The Organization. Then, our nerdy duo head to the drive-in for a marathon, watching 5 Roger Corman films, all from the 60s. The House of Usher, The Raven, Premature Burial, The Pit and the Pendulum, and The Haunted Palace. You will gasp. You will scream. Your eyes will bulge. And you will watch in disbelief as giant puppets sing songs. The terror begins now, here on Film Geek Time Machine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Film Geek Time Machine. I'm your host, Austin Kennedy.
I'm Tim Kaiser.
Hello, that's the other host.
Yes, that Tim Kaiser.
That Tim Kaiser?
Yeah, no, not that Tim Kaiser. That Tim Kaiser was one of the producers on Seinfeld.
There's a Tim Kaiser on Seinfeld?
Yeah, well, there's also some shitty author in California.
Really? Oh, there's really a Tim Kaiser who produced Seinfeld. That's interesting. Okay. Hello, welcome to Film Geek Time Machine, and on this show, I have a time machine, and we go back in time.
Correct.
To see movies.
To see movies.
That's what we do. So,
oh God, here's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a friend who had a time machine so I could go watch Don Knotts movies.
Yay!
Yay! I'm so happy.
Hey, we might be able to do it again.
Oh yeah, because he made a few of them.
Not that many though.
There's only like 4 of them where he's like the actual star.
There's 5 where he's
and
the
then
star,
there's a
and
couple
then
of those apple dumpling.
And then he did a
stuff.
lot with in the Disney era with
Tim Conway.
Yeah. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Anyways, yes, this is the podcast where we pick a random date, and we actually picked a true random date to go see movies. And then we go look at the newspaper.
We didn't pick some historic date.
No, right.
I mean, maybe for all we know, October 23rd, 1971 is the most important date in world history. Right. I don't know. Somebody was born that day. It wasn't me. It wasn't you. So we don't fucking care.
So yes, October 23rd, 1971 was the date that randomly got picked. And we look at the Minneapolis Star and Tribune paper of that day, and we look at the paper, see what was out, and try to schedule a whole movie marathon. And we truly did have a movie marathon this time. So
yes,
of what we did.
Oh, yeah, one of them was literally almost all of those.
It was a 5-movie marathon. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the time period of what was going on in October 23rd, 1971. Hits, the music hits. We have Maggie May.
God, he was
Rod
71?
Stewart. Rod
God,
Stewart.
He's old. What an old fucker.
Carpenters,
Wait.
Bless the Beast and Child and Superstar.
The Osmonds had a number 3?
Yeah, Yo-Yo.
What? I don't even know that song.
I have no idea either. Of course, Cher, Gypsy,
Tramps and Thieves.
Yep. Joan Baez, Lee Michaels. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that one. Go Away Little Girl by Donny Osmond.
Here's the thing. I guarantee if we listen to that, Do You Know What I Mean? We're gonna
Oh, I'm
recognize
sure.
But that Osmond one, maybe it'll just sound like other Osmonds.
Theme from
Shaft.
Isaac Hayes.
Oh my God, we did not have the option to watch Shaft.
No, we didn't. Al Green, Tired of Being Lonely. Paul and Linda McCartney, Cat Stevens, Peace Train, Carole King. Like, this album is so far away. Smackwater Jack. Like, that album Tapestry is one of my favorite albums. Really good. Fifth Dimension. Oh, Imagine. John Lennon.
Oh, really? That's new. It debuted at 20 because this is a...
So Imagine
this is the top 40, so it jumped straight to 20.
So John Lennon's Imagine was brand new when we went back to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah,
TV listings. What was on TV? So this on TV today was Getting Together. I have no idea what show that is. Funny Face. Don't really know what show that is.
A Star is Born on a Stretcher.
That's
the name of the episode
of
whatever the hell that show
is.
is.
The new Dick Van Dyke Show.
which was followed by
Yeah.
the Mary Tyler Moore
Moore
show,
Show.
which seems like the new Dick Van Dyke show should have been successful because Mary Tyler Moore show was fucking huge.
Yeah, very
and then
huge.
it still fucking bombed.
And then Mission Impossible still around. The Persuaders, which I don't know what that is, and then The Good Life.
That is OG Mission Impossible. You're
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. It was on, that was
That
on
must
for
be-
like 6 or 7 seasons.
That must be like near the end of its run. I think it was mostly
The Good Life. Larry Hagman was on this show, The Good Life. That's JR from Dallas, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And then Getting Together.
He's from My Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, of course.
Fuck you and your Dallas bullshit.
Oh, look at this. So Getting Together was based on characters introduced in the Partridge Family. So it was
This is a Partridge Family spinoff?
It was. Okay.
Didn't know there
Bobby
was such a
Conway,
thing.
Bobby Sherman. Okay. That was so that was going on. So let's look at the newspaper, see
Boy,
what movies were
that,
shown.
that listing was entirely nothing because it only had
No.
the networks.
Yeah, it was not so much on that one. So this is what we got for movies that came out. Walter Matthau in Koch, directed by Jack Lemmon.
God, that would have been good, but we didn't watch it because you're a fucking jerk.
Song, it's not that great a movie. I want it to be.
I haven't seen it.
I really
wouldn't
want.
know. I
I
wouldn't know.
love Walter Matthau. And I was really
I
disappointed.
wasn't
So.
up for Johnny Got His Gun because
Yes.
I didn't want to be suicidal
So
for the
Dalton-
entire week of my life.
Dalton Trumbull's Johnny Got His Gun was out, rated GP. There was no PG, it was GP back then.
General.
And, yeah, I don't know. They just switched
What's
it.
P?
PG. I don't know. It's GP. But Johnny Got His Gun, that's the movie where they showed footage of that in the Metallica music video
Yes.
1.
Yeah. The people of our age will know what that is.
Yes.
The people who were born in 1999 don't even know who fucking real Metallica is. They listen to that garbage version of Metallica that kept going.
Clint Eastwood's directorial debut, Play Misty for Me, was actually a really good kind of Fatal Attraction type movie. Have you ever seen it?
I think I've seen it.
It's really
but
good.
It was, we didn't watch it though.
We didn't. Cry, Uncle, Where's Papa, The Skin Game, Dr. Zhivago had a reissue. The Living Desert and The Vanishing Prairie, which are two 1950s Disney nature documentaries.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those were showing. Bananas, again. I feel like that Woody Allen's Bananas has showed at like 10 of the episodes that we have done so far. I swear to God. Like it's some midnight showing
This
or
is
something.
71.
Yeah.
Between this, for the entire 70s, there's probably a Woody Allen movie
Yeah,
in theaters
yeah.
at all times.
But
Okay?
Bananas seems to be shown. But this is actually Bananas actually came out in 1971. Clay Pigeon with Telly Savalas and Robert Vaughn.
Telly Savalas.
That would have
you
been.
really-
I love Telly Savalas. Oh, Fantasia.
Okay, here's the thing I was thinking about recently.
Yeah.
Because I know you love Telly Savalas.
I do love Telly
Is it
Savalas.
because he embraced the baldness and you had to
Maybe.
embrace the baldness
Yes.
when you were really young?
Yeah, when I was 19, I went bald when I was 19, and I don't know if there's something about.
Is that the
about
reason?
that.
I mean, he's good.
I don't think so, but
Here's the thing. I really, if it ends up on one of the things with the Dirty Dozen, we gotta fucking watch Dirty
okay,
Dozen.
yeah.
Fuck,
Lee
Dirty
Marvin.
Dozen's so fucking amazing.
Everybody's awesome in that movie, right? The Last Run, which was a George C. Scott cop movie, Clute. Billy Jack was head.
There's a lot of
Ryan's
things
daughter.
that people have heard of.
Mel,
and then there's
Mel
movies we
Brooks.
watch.
This is the 12 Cheers. That's Mel Brooks' second film that he made, 1970. With
Really? When was
Ron
Producers?
Moody.
That was like years earlier.
68.
So it'd been a few
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
And when is Blazing Saddles? That is third or fourth?
74. That was his fourth movie. No, that's his third movie. Yeah, third.
There's okay.
Yeah. Because then he did Young Frankenstein the same year he did Blazing Saddles. That was a banger year.
okay.
For him.
Oh, wow.
There's a bunch of drive-in stuff we didn't see. So this Chrome and Hot Leather. The Aristocats was out. There's Clay Pigeon there.
There's a Dorian
the
Gray
animals
flick right there.
Yep, Soldier Blue. I don't know why they show it there. Okay, so the movies that we did choose were two of them were matinees that we saw that were matinees only. So one of them was they're like family matinees. So the first one was Don Knotts and How to Frame a Fig.
Yes.
Which I've never seen. I've only seen I think The Incredible Mr. Limpet before.
It's okay. Well, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
We'll talk when we get to it.
We will. The second movie we saw is PUFNSTUF, which is in 1969, 1970. There was a children's show called HR PUFNSTUF. It was a hit, so they go, let's make a movie of it.
It's weird. There's only one season of that thing, and then
Yeah.
they said, "Let's go to movie."
Yeah, they went to a movie, and they never made another season
That's
after that.
weird. But they made plenty of other shit.
Yes, they
Croft
did.
Did fine.
Yeah,
Okay?
we'll talk about that too when we get there. The next one was The Organization, which was a Sidney Poitier movie. This is our fourth Sidney Poitier film, I think, that he's appeared on the podcast.
Well, later in this episode, we're going to destroy that record of how many people were in one of our movies.
absolutely, yeah. But but The Organization was he plays Mr. And Virgil Tibbs.
Yeah, this is the second sequel.
This is the second sequel, the
Second
third
sequel.
film. The first one was In the Heat of the Night, which won Best Picture, and then They Call Me Mr. Tibbs was the second one. This is the third one. Then we decided, I thought it would be really cool because it probably doesn't happen that often, but at the 65 High Blaine Drive-In, a Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe, mostly Vincent Price, 5-movie marathon. We have The House of Usher, The Raven, Premature Burial, which that one had Ray Milland instead of Vincent Price, Pit and the Pendulum, and The Haunted Palace.
That's the thing that I find most annoying. This ad has them numbered, and that's not the order they were shown in.
No.
It's not even like reverse order.
Well, there's
it's
two
just
listings.
Random.
So there's 2 listings here. One of them shows you'll shudder, you'll shake,
Yeah,
you'll
but they have
gasp.
numbers on them.
They
1,
do.
2, 3,
4,
4, 5. But 4 is the first one.
Yeah.
And 1 is the last one.
Yeah. It's really weird how they did that. And it's funny because Boris Karloff is not even in that. Yeah, they totally got it mixed up.
That is...
So they're showing The Haunted Palace starring Boris Karloff. He is in The Raven. He is not in The Haunted Palace.
But they do have Ray in Premature Burial. That was right.
They got that right. Anyways, so that's a crazy episode, and we'll get to that crazy movie marathon. However, the first movie is How to Frame a Fig. And this was so long ago that I don't remember.
Well, that's what we take notes for.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I can't read my notes.
I take notes.
I do take
I'll
notes.
tell you what happened in this. Crazy, weird shit happened in this fucking movie, but it's, okay, I didn't hate this movie.
I don't know if I would hate it, but it was okay. How to Frame a Fig. It's Don Knotts, and are you familiar with any of his films? Have you seen it?
I have seen at least The Apple Dumpling Gang a bunch of times when I was a kid.
So he had a deal.
I've seen the fish one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the only one that I've seen before. Was Credible
That's the
Mr.
only
Limpet.
one that anybody
I've
ever
seen
talked
some of the
about.
Tim Conway stuff, but as far as the solo stuff, he did Credible Mr. Limpet. Then it was The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, The Reluctant Astronaut, Shakiest Gun in the West, and The Love God? ?
There's the Ghost. Yeah. Okay.
But I haven't seen any of those. But so this one, I'm like,
just Mr. Limpet is the only one I've seen before.
I know. So I have a new cat. The Grand Master Meeple is his name. Meeple.
The Grand Master Meeple.
Yep.
Meeps, as we call
Meepers or Meeps.
Hi, Meeps. Meow.
He's a lot friendlier than my other cat that you've probably heard.
That's not a high bar.
Before. No. No, he's pretty funny. But he sounds like a Pokemon when he's cooing. So he's like.
Well, maybe they can hear it. Maybe they
probably not. Anyways, hello. We're back. How to Frame a Fig. Yeah, Don Knotts. So the plot of this movie, this reminds me of something like Jerry Lewis would be starring in.
Yes.
Right? It seems like one of the
It
Jerry
had
Lewis.
more plot than I expected, I will admit.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be just pure insanity.
And it wasn't.
And
I think I would have liked it better if it was. To be honest.
Really? Because I liked it more than I expected because I expected it to be
right.
basically unconnected garbage.
No, it wasn't.
And instead, I mean, How to Frame a Fig, I didn't know what the name meant. I thought it might be about art.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Don Knotts plays
frames.
Right. Don Knotts plays Hollis Fig, who he works at the city hall, and
he's so fucking proud of that city hall job.
Yeah. And he's an accountant. He's not very good. They say he's the dumbest one, quote unquote, according to the other guys. The other people ahead of him on top, and up there, they are grafting the shit out of that. They're taking money away from the till. They're stealing money from the till, and they need a fall guy to take the fall.
They're embezzling stuff.
Yep, exactly. So then they fire all the other accountants, and then they go, Fig, you're in charge of it now, and here's a machine, too.
Yeah, here's a $5,000 computer, which, I'm going to tell you, back then, $5,000 computer, even more useless than this computer was.
It was just like dot. It was all these little dots.
It was still a whole room, except for it wasn't, because only one part of it comes off, and that's the only part you really need.
Right.
That's what's meaningless nonsense. It's there for looks.
Right. But meanwhile, he also has a girlfriend who's Emma Letha, is a pretty waitress. I really, actually, that was my favorite part about the movie, was their little kind of relationship. I thought that
was one of the more real, because she wasn't like a supermodel.
She was super cute, though.
She was cute, but she wasn't.
No. She wasn't Yvonne Craig.
Yes, because she shows up, and I'm like, holy bejesus.
Yes, Yvonne Craig is this sexy secretary that they they give her.
Sexy's not a big enough word, baby.
She's known for she's Batgirl on Batman.
Boy, does she look
60s
good.
series. So she's on there to kind of distract him and stuff, and then the girlfriend gets jealous. There's that whole little thing too. A lot of it is just a bunch of silly things then they discover, Don Knotts discovers, so he's got a goofy friend who's a sanitation worker.
Yes.
And he is...
played by Frank Welker.
Yeah, do you know?
Frank Welker is a voice actor. He was
Yes.
the voice of Fred.
Yes.
And a billion other things.
Yeah. So he's kind of an idiot. But anyways, he discovers, like, through the computer that, hey, this shouldn't be there. This shouldn't be there. So
See, I thought that was a funny scene.
Yeah.
Because Don Knotts is trying to show him off this awesome computer.
Right.
This awesome 1971 beep bop machine. Okay? Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop. It is these.
That's exactly.
He puts in the numbers,
Yep.
and it spits out the numbers, and then his idiot friend immediately tells him, those numbers don't fucking work.
He does. So, well, anyway, so they're trying to figure out, like, who did this, and then he brings it to the head guy, and the head guy's like, oh, don't tell anyone about this, and then they kind of get him and make him be the fall guy, and he's in trouble, all that stuff, and then he's got to prove itself.
They frame a fig.
Yes, and that's what it is. The movie is pretty much going to, like, whether you enjoy the film or not is whether you like Don Knotts. I do like Don Knotts, but it's funny. So I've never really sat through, like, a whole Don Knotts movie where he's doing, like, his shtick, and his shtick is to, I was trying to do it earlier before we recorded, but he does this thing where he, like, shakes his head, and his eyes are all beady and stuff. And
it's very manic,
right,
I guess.
And
he's anxious. He's always super anxious.
Right, and it's like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, do I like that? Or do I not like? I couldn't decide while I'm watching it if I like it or not.
I kind of agree. Those parts were weird. The parts where he gets angry because of who I am,
Yeah.
loved it.
I didn't really
he got
like-
angry with his idiot friend, and his idiot friend is almost always right.
Yeah.
Loved it.
The one part I didn't like was when he got when he was yelling at his girlfriend.
Yes.
I didn't like that at all because she, you know, like legit, she gets jealous of
Oh.
Yvonne Craig and she pretty much throws soup right on her chest.
Yeah. With
and
good reason.
Right.
She could fucking tell.
Yeah.
Yvonne Craig, not doing a good thing.
Yeah.
But also, Yvonne Craig, gonna win.
Well, anyway, so then Don Knotts gets all mad. He's like, well, maybe I won't see you again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, man. And I'm like, I want to
And
be
then he, like, has a talk with, I think it was with Yvonne Craig, like the next scene about,
Yeah.
oh, how do I, like, apologize for all the horrible things I did?
And then she tries to seduce
Just wait
him.
for her to call you.
Then she tries to get drunk. Or
Yeah,
gets him drunk.
she does get him drunk.
Yeah, and then he passes out. So you liked his friend. I did not like his friend.
I
did
here's
not.
the
Frank
thing.
Welker. No,
Here's
I did
the
not
thing.
like him.
I didn't hate him. I liked the situations that happened with his friend.
So he's playing the kind of like hick good old boy, like, oh, gee, guy, oh. And I'm just like,
I'm going to tell you,
I don't
watching this, I'm like,
I
I
don't
know
like
why
it.
you're a voice actor, because I don't think you're any good at the actual acting.
No,
that much,
no, I
but
did not think
I
he
could
was.
also tell while watching, I'm like, yeah, but you have the fucking voice for
Yep,
it.
I think so.
Okay?
Yeah, I didn't really care for his character, so every time he was on screen, and I didn't really find
I didn't
a lot
know.
of that stuff
It took me a while to
funny.
realize, oh, God, that's Frank Welker.
There was a plot. It wasn't just a bunch of scenes of insanity, but I just didn't care about anything going on really in the movie. And like I said, I couldn't decide if I liked or didn't like Don Knotts. So you liked it more than I did.
In my knots.
I laughed sometimes.
Here's a line in my knots. Somehow, I seem to care about what is happening.
Oh, wow. I did not care about what was happening in that movie. No.
Oh,
I
boy.
just-
The old guy
Okay.
was so fucking... Was he dying?
Okay.
Was he really dying? 'Cause that dude
you know
was
what?
fucking sick
Okay,
and
I
old.
did kind of like the old guy because there's that scene when the old guy and
He's like the head evil.
right, and while he's talking in the board meetings, he like bangs his cane on the. Okay,
Well, he would like fall asleep, and then when he wake up, he just bang it a couple of times because he woke up.
and I did think there was one funny scene early on in the movie. Now this is a G-rated movie.
Oh,
Some of the jokes.
That's what I was gonna say. Some of this stuff is like there's like erection jokes in this movie.
So the one joke that I thought was really funny was I'm like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend over there. We do signals at each other through the window. It was like, oh, is that all? Are you on the pill?
I hope you're on the pill.
I was like, what?
And well, he also spills some. Early on, he gets a bunch of ketchup shot right at him,
And then she's
and
rubbing
I'm
her
like,
chest.
and it's even in my notes. In any other movie, I'm going to assume that guy gets shot later.
Yeah.
Okay? But in this movie, guaranteed he's not going to get shot. Didn't get shot, never even come up. But boy, is that movie, that is so telegraphing a dude who's going to get shot.
Yeah.
And then she like rubs it off, and then he spills some on his pants.
And he
she's
goes,
reaching
"I
down
got
and goes,
this."
I'm gonna have to. I should do this one.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
It was funny.
Okay. This is better than I thought. But
I think it's actually a funny movie.
Yeah.
It's just periodically Don Knotts has to go full Don Knotts, and that kind of pulls you out of it.
I didn't like The Friend. there's some stuff. It's completely harmless and watchable film.
Yes.
I will say that. I'm at a 2 stars on it.
Okay, I'm actually going to go...
Full 3?
I'm going to go full 3.
Because
there's a few things in this that I legitimately... Well, at the end, he has to, like, get the evidence back, and the old man has died. And the bad guys switch out the old man in the casket with the computer.
That's right.
Okay? And so they are digging up the computer because he figures out, oh shit, they put him. They put the computer in the casket.
That at the end went on way too long.
Oh, I don't know. I fucking loved every second of it. Because they had to get extension cords.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find extension cords.
And they couldn't reach it.
And right at the end, they're like 3 feet short. And then his Frank Welker friend is let's just plug it in there. It was there the whole time! They went through the entire night of getting extension cords, and not even that, like old appliances, and then welding them together. Right. I don't know. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so...
Also at the end, the very last thing, after he has gotten the evidence, they go to Rio. When he gets there, everybody looks exactly like all the bad guys. Because the bad guys have gotten away.
Yeah.
She says, it's just because you have them on your brain. And you think everybody looks like them. While they're doing that, they're wheeling on a dead body.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's them! Or at least it's their fucking identical cousins. I want to know what happened. I don't know. Like I said, I actually was like, I fucking like this movie. There are some issues. It isn't as funny sometimes, but... The funny shit, I legitimately was laughing my ass off.
There wasn't enough funny stuff for me. I just thought it was... Most of the time I was watching it going, this is all right. So it's a 2 for me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, next movie, PUFNSTUF.
PUFNSTUF.
So HR PUFNSTUF, did you ever watch this as a kid?
I did. I'm older than you.
Yes.
This shit was all over. The one season, which was like 18 episodes, was somehow in syndication, and I'm like, let's watch the same episode.
When I was a kid, when I was like 3 or 4, which was the late 70s, they had Sid and Marty Krofft hour where they would show like reruns and stuff. So they'd show Land of the Lost, they would show PUFNSTUF, they'd show
the Sea Monsters thing,
Segment of the Sea Monsters.
They got
Dr.
Shrinker, Dino Girl were also
Dr. Shrinker was
Dr. Shrinker.
That's the shit right there. Billy Barty's in there.
That is the shit. That is shitty.
But and then there's Lidsville and the Bugaloos.
God, they did a lot.
They did a lot.
And
they're all fever dreams and acid trips.
They still act like there were no drugs involved in any of these things.
That is bullshit.
Fucking way.
That is absolutely
watching this fucking movie.
Absolutely.
I was high at the end of it, and I'm like, I didn't do any fucking drugs, but my brain is swimming. Okay, this movie's bonkers.
So HR PUFNSTUF, the actual show, is Jack Wilde, who got famous from Oliver the musical. Where
that's right. Yeah,
he played.
And his life is a horrible nightmare after.
Right. So, but
he's the star of this movie.
He's the star of this movie, and he's also the star of the show.
Yeah.
And so in the show, it's like
his movie.
Yeah,
it just happens to have giant puppets that can eat him in one bite. Okay.
Yeah. So what it is, so the plot is pretty much the same as the show, where except they extended a little bit, where
it's a reboot.
Yeah, he doesn't really get along with people in school, so he's kind of skipping school and stuff.
10 minutes in, they have so much story,
and then he has a flute, and then it starts talking to him, and he's like, "Let's go this way," and they get on a boat. And then it brings him to an island. When the storm happens.
This is the story of how a child disappeared one day.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, it's because I don't know if he has parents. Does ever bring him up?
What's funny, like the original, the kind of the premise of how, a kid doesn't fit in and stuff, and he goes on a boat to an island with a bunch of people. Kind of like World of Wild Things are. Comes to line, but it's way more.
That's supposed to all be in this head,
right.
In that story, no, this is a fucking island, with monsters, and a witch, who's the best character in movie history.
Witchy Poo by Billy Hayes.
She is
fantastic.
So all in on this fucking movie.
Oh, absolutely. But she was also on the show.
Yeah. She's all in on this character. She loves it.
PUFNSTUF, the island. What's it called? What island is it called?
It's called
Living Island.
Living Island.
Oh, I love that song too. Anyways,
there's a whole bunch of songs, but the best one is we'll talk about it later. I think it's probably the same one.
So he gets to this island, Living Island, and Mayor HR PUFNSTUF. Don't tell me that's not something to do with marijuana.
Do we have any idea what the H and R
I don't know what the HR stand for, but PUFNSTUF. I mean, come on. But then there's a bunch of other people that look like McDonald's characters from the 70s.
Well, that's okay.
Well, that's where that
did
came
you
from,
know
right?
about
Yeah,
that?
I did know about that.
McDonald's hired them.
Yes.
And then when the deal backed
Yeah.
out, McDonald's just made it themselves.
Yep.
And so Sidney Muddy Croft sued their asses
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they won. Because
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Of course they fucking won. Watch this movie. The mayor is just Mayor McCheese.
Yeah.
And also the Grimace at the same time.
Yeah. And then there's all these other characters. There's there's a bird thing, and there's my favorite is the clock. There's like that clock that walks around.
That stuff came back sort of during Pee Wee Herman.
So
stuff.
yeah, so it's literally people in costumes and little people in costumes, and then Witchy Poo, who's the villain, who has this castle, and then she's always going around like shooting lightning bolts or whatever down.
She wants the flute.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. She just somehow knows it's the best flute in the world.
Yeah.
Okay?
Once you get this flute, it talks.
Because that's just the best dildo in the world. That fucking flute is. That thing's floppy and everything,
Right.
man. That thing is
So
so
she's trying to
dildo.
get the flute, but at the same time, there's also going to be a big witch convention, and she wants to be Witch of the Year. And so all these witches come. Martha Ray plays the head witch, but then also Mama Cass. They got Mama Cass in there
Cass
as
is one of the
Witch
witches.
Hazel.
And she's pretty good at it.
She's very good at it. So this movie, this is my second time watching it. The first time I watched it alone, and I'm like, it was okay. I bet you if I watched this with someone, I would laugh and like this a lot better. Guess what? I laughed a lot more when I watched this with someone.
No, I would never watch this alone.
No, you have to watch this with people.
You have to be able to talk. You have to be able to make
This
have fun
is
with
one
it.
of those kids' movies and shows, whatever. It's so bonkers. Like if you watch Pee-wee's like Playhouse, I'm like, wow, this show's crazy. There's nothing on this.
But Pee-wee's Playhouse all takes place in like the Playhouse.
Yeah.
This has sets.
Yeah.
And there's the castle.
Yeah.
And then they go outside and they start dancing. And then they put on,
They
I don't know,
did-
angel costumes.
I thought that all the sets and the costuming stuff even better than the show because they shot it on film.
Yeah.
It looks so cool.
It looks good.
I
does
mean,
look good.
I love looking at the costumes and just the stuff that they did and the sets. And the songs are like, Living Island and
Oh yeah,
and
there's a song about how great PUFNSTUF is.
yes,
Just out of the blue.
Yeah.
This kid literally just met this giant yellow monster.
Yeah.
And he sings an entire song about how great the fucking mayor of Weird Island is.
and then the last third of the movie, they have the witch convention. Mama Cass sings the song, and it's pretty fucking good.
That song is good about being different.
Yeah.
And about how being different can make you an outcast, but also she would still
Yeah.
prefer to be different
Yeah.
than the same. And I'm like, fuck Mama
There's,
Cass, you're
there's
awesome.
the soundtrack album, Zap the World. That was a good one.
Yeah. Let's
Living
see,
Island. There's different was Mama Cass. We're looking at the soundtrack
Oh,
listings.
the Angel Raid is
Friend in
happens
You,
later in the movie. So this
Puff and
the
Stuff,
play
How
order in
Lucky
this is
I
wrong.
Am, Witchy Poo's Lament, Fire in the Castle, If I Could. And Jack Wilde, he's acting with a bunch of...
The fact that when I was his age, I would have been too anxious around all this shit.
Yeah.
But at this point, he'd been doing it for a year or so. So he's probably much more used to it.
Maybe.
He's fine.
No, he's fine in the
He's
movie. I like him.
dancing, he's singing, he's enjoying himself.
It is literally, it's bright, it's colorful. There's a lot of costumes and what you could call furries now.
It is essentially like 3 or 4 episodes of the show because they're all separate things.
Right. But the
first
production
thing
values
is-
are better.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
production
But
values
I
are
mean,
better.
the first thing is Witchy Poo finds out about the flute.
Yep.
She puts on a costume, a hippie chick costume.
Yeah.
And I'm legit like, pretty fucking hot. So I just happen to like hippie chicks. And
No,
I'm
right.
Like,
No,
fuck,
no,
she's
no.
pretty hot.
So whether you like this movie or not, if you get annoyed with Witchy Poo, because she's doing a her high shrill voice the whole time. If that starts irritating you in the first 30 seconds, you are not going to like this movie.
But here's the thing. If you like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the villain from that.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Witchy Poo,
I would
except
say-
for
yeah, what you're talking
Witchy
about.
Poo is a trillion times better at it.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
it's actually her and
Yeah.
not just a person with a different voice dubbed over.
Yeah.
She's actually fucking saying this shit.
Yes.
And she's loves it.
Yeah,
and that fucking broom, she's a
I was
witch.
just about to say
she has
that-
a broom. The vroom broom.
But
It's like a fucking car she drives around in.
But
flying around
the
in. It's
design
awesome.
of it looks awesome.
Oh, it's so
It
cool.
looks really cool, and then all the cars that they drive in the movie and on Puff and Living Island. So it's fun. It's 94 minutes or so. It is a little long for what it is.
It's a little long.
It's a little long. It should have been like 75, 80 minutes.
Of, say,
a Corman film.
A Corman horror film, hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes.
Yes. If you watch it with some friends, and if you're into hallucinations, or drugs, you might enjoy it even more.
Here's the thing:
pop some gummies.
One of the thoughts I had.
Get into that.
I don't have kids. You have.
Yeah,
I have a kid.
I do.
You never accidentally showed this to your kid.
I absolutely showed this to
when they were younger.
Yes. So I rented this movie
because I'd be more afraid of my kid loving this and want to watch it 3 times a day, because then I'd kill myself.
No. So I rented, this was back when Netflix had like the discs or whatever. I rented this from Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Because I was always trying to show him, I didn't want to show him like Barney or stuff. So I'm like, he was like 3, and I'm like, PUFNSTUF based on them. Oh my god! So I rented it. This is like in 2000.
I didn't actually know that they had made a movie. I just knew about the show.
So I rented it for him, and I think he liked it. Like I was showing him
how old was he?
He was 3 or 4. I showed him.
That doesn't matter.
I showed him the trailer, and he was like, I totally remember this. He's
really?
Yeah, he has a good memory, but he was like, I totally remember.
I remember shit from last episode. What the hell?
He totally remembered it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. You want to watch it? And he's like, no. So, but it was
the kid sucks.
Yeah, it was really fun. So I'm gonna give it a. So if you're by yourself, it might be a 2.5, but I'm gonna give it a 3.
If this was a midnight showing with like a groups, there could be all kinds of cool jokes.
Yeah,
there's such pure insanity.
Yeah.
This movie is a blast to watch with a bunch of friends.
Yes, I think so.
If you just want to sit down and watch a movie alone, of these 8 movies in this is the last one you should watch. Do not watch this alone, okay?
No, but
even How to Frame a Fig, as far as I'm concerned, fine, just watch it alone, okay? It'd probably be better with more, but it's fine to watch alone. Never watch this alone.
No.
There's literally no chance of liking it.
Yeah, no, it was fun watching it again. So I liked it a second time, but watching it with you made me. We're laughing and stuff.
Oh God,
and so
it
was
fucking.
And we're looking at each other like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh God, I did up. I'm just going 3.
Okay, you're almost with 3. So I feel like that us talking about it, even though as much as we talked about it, I don't think we were doing it justice because of how bonkers this is.
Thing. I guess maybe that's the problem. I don't know maybe it's super rewatchable. I just don't want to watch it again right now. Maybe in 5 years I'll watch it again.
I think I could watch it again with some people that haven't seen it. I'm like, oh, you got to watch this shit because it's fucking crazy.
You're right. Oh God, if I showed this to my niece is 23. She just graduated.
She will never talk to you again.
She just graduated college. She has to be doing drugs. Okay.
Pop some gummies. Come on over.
Oh God.
We're gonna watch
the gummies.
Pop it. So okay. Our next movie is The Organization. So I've never seen this one. You haven't seen it either.
No. Had you seen the second one?
I have seen In the Heat of the Night and the second one. They call me Mr. Tips.
I guess just a quick little explanation. Yeah. In the Heat of the Night, he's from Philadelphia.
Yes.
And this he's in San Francisco.
I don't remember.
Does that happen in the middle movie or something?
So I don't remember the second one where that takes place. So I don't remember. In fact, I suppose we could click on Wikipedia right now and check it out. Where does it say?
It's right here. It says
San Francisco. So
in the first one, he's very much from
Philadelphia. So I don't know when. Okay, so magically he's in San Francisco.
Maybe they just filmed it because they did definitely film this in San Francisco.
Oh, absolutely.
And so maybe San Francisco says then you got to make it take place. Also, you can't really have all those hills and shit and go like it's in a different city. No, there's only one.
Right?
Okay?
Yeah. So, so In the Heat of the Night is actually a fantastic. Have you seen In the Heat of the Night?
Yes.
It's one best picture.
I considered because I knew I was watching it. So I'm like, I might watch those first 2. But I'm like,
I want.
But then we're gonna watch 8 movies. No, I'll just skip it.
I think it's a fantastic movie. It holds up really well. I show it to my film students. When I teach middle school kids.
This has a different director and writer?
Yeah. All of them have different directors.
Okay.
They call me Mr. Tibbs. The second one, 2 stars. It's not very good.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it.
It's okay. It's just not even in the same league as In the Heat of the Night. This one isn't either, but. We'll go into that. So,
all right.
The Organization. So Sidney Poitier is Virgil Tibbs, and he's a San Francisco cop. The movie opens with a bunch of revolutionaries robbing.
It's a heist. You don't know they're revolutionaries.
No.
You just think this is a fucking heist.
I'm just going over the overview right now.
Yes, but at that point, just a heist.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just a
later
heist.
on you find out they're.
But they
to
steal a
take-
bunch of heroin and they contact Tibbs and be like, "Hey, we stole a bunch of heroin. We're trying to take down the
Well,
organization."
but we didn't kill the guy.
Right? Oh
That's
yeah.
the reason they contacted.
Yeah.
Because in the heist, the cops showed up right afterward, and the guy that they had brought with the heist.
Yes.
They had kidnapped this guy. He's dead.
To open
And
the
they're like,
vault.
but we
Yeah.
didn't kill him.
And we're also trying to bring down the organization. We have all this heroin. We have all this evidence. Let's do
That
this.
is probably the weirdest thing. They all then talk about we bring down the organization, and I'm like, was the organization like a supervillain, like Spectre thing from the first two movies?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the organization is behind. Like, the organization is trying to bring down, or is trying to. I mean, they're in charge of like drugs and whatever, all of the crime around the cities. You don't know too much about them, even though they try to show you like behind the scenes of them and stuff. So, but Tibbs is just like, what are you talking about? I don't want to do it. But then he thinks about it, and then he's like, okay, he's gonna help out.
Yeah.
But he gets in trouble too, and eventually loses his badge, and then ends up going rogue and then helping with them.
That is the thing. This doesn't feel like it has pretty much anything to do with In the Heat of the Night.
Oh, it's nothing to do with it. It's just
He's technically playing the same character.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. In the Heat of the Night, he's like a super cop. They bring him in because he can fucking solve crime.
Yeah.
In this, he actively is avoiding solving a crime.
Yes. Yeah. When the movie opened, I'm going to tell you this right now. That opening heist pre-title sequence was fucking amazing.
Holy shit, was that good! I'm
that
watching I heard this movie was bad. This fucking opening 20 minutes of this movie is fucking.
It's the best part of the
mind-blowing.
movie. It's the best part.
Like
of the
the
movie.
first half hour, yeah.
This is the pre-title sequence. The pre-title sequence.
Actually, all the way up until when he meets with them and they reveal that they are actually revolutionaries. Right. I loved all of that.
So
I didn't hate the rest of it, but that is millions of times the best movie.
No, I don't think it's not a terrible movie.
That heist was one of the best fucking movie heists I've
It's so
ever
good. Well, they had that one guy named pole vaults.
Yeah,
but
it's not like cuts.
No,
he fucking did it.
Well,
and I'm like, that doesn't look safe.
The opening of the movie too, so you see the MGM logo, right? And then you hear some footsteps. You see this out of focus image, right? And then boom, the guy walks into frame, and now he's in focus. I love that kind of stuff. So
and then the rest of the movie doesn't really do that kind of shit.
There's
not as much.
No,
like the opening thing, it does grab you.
In a lot of 70s movies, it was just the commonplace to do a lot of cool focal things where things are in the background, foreground, and I miss that. I love that in those old 70s movies. And this movie is photographed pretty much for the most part really well. I really like, but that opening heist sequence is so good. And for the first 2/3 of that heist, the first 10 minutes, there is no music. Yeah. It is just them going in, taking out the cop, bringing in the hostage.
I don't think there's any music until the actual credits start.
No. Right when they take the guy and throw him out the window and hang him, the music starts. And it's like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The music's
avant-garde
awesome
jazz music in this, too.
It's
like,
by someone I've never...
got, like, cool dudes and had them play
It was
tunes.
someone I've never heard of before, so his name is Jill, and I'm going to butcher his name, but Gil Melly, or Mel, it's M-E-L-L-E.
Yeah, it's definitely Gil. You got that part right.
It was awesome. I really like the music in this movie. But yeah, that opening was great, and one of the revolutionaries is Raul Julia.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
That's the second time
on
the podcast.
Unsurprisingly, he's pretty damn good in it.
Oh, of course. It's
Actually,
Julia. He's really
that's
good.
one of the things in this movie. Everybody's really fucking good in it.
Yeah, there isn't really,
There's no real weak things, I don't think.
There's a couple, I think, but...
I'm trying to remember. This is a fucking long time ago, Austin.
This
you
one,
made me watch 8 movies, you piece of shit.
So, Sidney Poitier is fine in the movie. He doesn't do anything spectacular.
No,
he's just
he's
solid.
He's weird.
He's pretty stoic through the movie.
He's like, okay, I'll make another one of these movies.
Right. He's doing fine, but they really focus on the revolutionaries a lot.
There's even there's also scenes with the organization. And while they're on the phone, and there's this cool code they're using.
Yeah.
And one guy references and just says, "Oh, that means this and this means this."
I actually didn't like those scenes. I would have liked it better if the organization was just some unseen thing you didn't see. We didn't need to see any of those meetings. If you cut those out, I don't think anything would be missed, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think it hurt them like you did. I guess I thought it was still a thing. It would make it shorter. It isn't like the longest movie in the world.
No, it's an hour and 47 minutes or 46 minutes, but
shorter, maybe an hour and a half movie. This could be. But In the Heat of the Night, it's like over 2 hours, right?
You're right. No, that's not. It's like maybe an hour and 50-some minutes. Okay. But no, so it was funny. I was watching this, and I'm like, holy shit. There was one part that I saw on television. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the scene when the Japanese girl, the revolutionary,
the runner?
Yeah, when she dies and when they pull her out. I
Oh.
totally remember that part.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I never saw it before, but I remember seeing that on
Well,
television.
I had no recollection of
I was
any of
probably
this.
like 11 or 12
And
when
if
I
I had
saw
ever seen that heist before, I would have loved it.
Oh, I know.
There are masks in that heist.
Oh, so
don't make any fucking sense
the masks.
to me, though.
It was like
They're clear masks. You can still tell their race and what.
Well,
eye
they
color
almost look
have,
like plastic
and if they have
bags.
Scars.
I'm like, can they breathe in them? Looks
Yeah,
like
it doesn't look like they can breathe. It's like not only are we committing heists, we're trying to simultaneously kill ourselves in the worst possible way.
Right. So, but a lot of it is just talking and trying to get stuff going. So I feel like the midsection, there is some stuff that bogs it down a little bit.
Yeah, it does go.
And
boggy.
it's
gets
never
boggy.
bad. It's just kind of like
It's mostly that first half hour is like
It's
oh
really
my
good.
God, this movie, especially after having watched
Yeah.
two complete bizarre bonkers things. I'm like, okay, this is the most 1970s real movie that we're watching.
Yes,
Okay, so
that
I'm
is
like,
the
okay, let's fucking watch Sidney act up a storm. And
one
he was
thing
kind
that was
of not
weird-
the best actor in the movie.
So, Ron O'Neal's in the movie is one of the revolutionaries, and he's Superfly.
yeah, I saw him and I'm like, God, which is that
Superfly,
guy?
the-
He's Superfly. Okay.
So there's that scene in the movie where he gets beat up early on. And then that one guy shows up and he's got like white hair. And I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be the big henchman. I don't think they ever fucking show that dude again. But
No,
I was like, oh yeah, here we go.
It definitely has some of that problems.
I did really like the end kind of chase or whatever in the subway.
Oh, okay,
and,
yeah.
And when Sidney Poitier is running and shooting and just the location of that.
I remember
When he's in that tunnel and he's running down and the music's going, it looked really cool. I was just like, oh yeah, that was a really neat location.
But that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That whole run and they're in the subway system or whatever. And then the next scene, he's immediately just accusing the guy who got killed's wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I miss like massive plot points?
Right.
That's because how did he figure this out?
And then of course, obviously, spoilers, obviously, but it ends up where they get the bad guys and then they get assassinated and then the organization gets away with it. And that's pretty much. And then Virgil Tibbs walks off credits.
So
that's
you're probably not wrong. If the organization, and you're right, maybe if we never saw him,
we
didn't
need any of those scenes.
Yeah,
I don't think.
okay.
I don't think
I
we
guess
needed.
I'm probably converted.
I don't think we needed any of those
I actually
scenes.
thought it was. I liked the code stuff where they were just like, we might be bugs. We got to talk in the most bullshit
No, it was
nonsense
neat,
code.
but I don't think it was unnecessary.
It's definitely, if we never saw them and they just talked about this organization,
That'd be
there's
scarier. More
another
suspicious.
cool way to go would be the organization. You don't even know if it's real. If it's just a
Yeah,
bunch of thugs that
that'd
just
be
happen to
neat
be
too.
dealing drugs or something.
Yeah, you don't know. I did also like the scenes. Because Sidney Poitier is a good actor, and seeing the scenes with him and his wife were good. They had,
Yeah.
Oh, when he's talking with this kid about, hey, how was that sex education lecture? And that's the last thing I want to talk to you about, Dad. What the fuck?
It was those were see, those are also scenes where I'm like, I don't know. I just want to see Tibbs be Tibbs.
Yeah. It was okay. So, as much as, but yeah, that opening heist scene is amazing.
Oh.
I thought it was very good. The rest of the movie is okay. There are some moments every once in a while where we're like, holy shit, that's cool. Like the chase scene with the Japanese girl in the car, and that was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
It's filmed.
almost.
There's a lot of stuff that's
Yeah.
filmed really well.
It
But
was
I'm
directed
also
by
gonna go
Don.
2.5.
Don Medford's the director.
It's
I
a
don't know
little
who it is.
long.
It is a little long.
And it's not even that long. It just feels long.
Yes.
You get halfway through it and you're like,
It is
okay,
not.
nothing's happening.
It's
now.
not bad. It definitely has some worthwhile things in it, especially that opening heist scene.
Oh god, that opening.
But
heist
it's
is one of the best
but I
things
would
ever.
say it's ultimately a 2.5, so it was okay. All right, here we go.
Okay, everybody, hunker down.
Hunker down.
we go to the
we drive-in.
We get to talk about Vincent Price
And-
and very possibly have differing opinions on Vincent Price.
Oh no! Fuck you, it's Vincent Price, you fucking son of a bitch!
I'm not gonna completely
Get
rip on
out of
him.
here. Okay.
It's just this. He's like he's better in some of these movies than the other.
Well,
ones, okay?
I wouldn't say he's better. I'd say he's different.
He's
He
not
acts-
even in one of them, so we're
He
not
acts
even
different.
we're not
That's
even
true.
talking about that one.
So okay. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit before. So we're going to do all these movies here. Before we
I gotta
get
look at my little bit of notes I have on.
Before we go into each movie individually, I want to talk about all of them as a whole. Okay, these are Roger Corman. So Roger Corman, and I probably talked about him before. We've done one of his movies before, which was X, the Man with X-Ray Eyes.
We did one of the ones he directed.
He's produced a shit ton.
We produced. In your first episode, we did like 3 of the produced ones.
But no, but his directing movies are different than his producing movies.
Because he's 100 times better at being a director.
He's actually a pretty good director.
But by the time the 70s comes around, he's like, just put tits in it. We'll make money.
Yeah. So Roger Corman, but he started off making stuff like The Wasp Woman and stuff like that in the early 50s, right?
He's still around.
Oh yeah, he's still alive. He's like 90-something.
Yeah.
Just in the late 50s, he started doing some more cult films. He did this movie called Bucket of Blood, which stars Dick Miller, who's like in every single one of his movies. I think he was only in actually 1 or 2 of these, but he started working with Vincent Price for these Edgar Allan Poe movies, and they did a bunch of them. Some of them we're not even seen. He also did Mask of Red Death and Tomb of Elysia or whatever, and some other ones, Tower of London. This one, he did House of Usher, and then these aren't actually in order of how they were made, which is funny.
That is the thing, but on that poster they were just fucking
House of Usher is the first one.
They skipped over some because there are like 7 of these movies, and
Haunted Palace is the newest one, so we kind of did that in the right order. That's the last one.
And we had to watch The Raven because it's the only one that actually people ever talk about.
You're right. Well, we also had to talk about it because it was in the marathon.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, if they're going to show one of these things, where they can only show 5 of them, The Raven's always going to be in there.
Right,
okay?
And it's funny because it's the most different of the 5.
Oh, it's weird.
It's
2 movies away, but it's fucking
What's the next one after this?
It is.
Yeah, it is. So, but these movies there's a lot of similarities with them. I'd say 4 or 5 of them have to do with premature death.
Oh, I would say that was the thing. I'm like, another time where they're all like lamenting premature death. Let alone the fact that one of them's just called premature burial.
They're all period pieces. They're all based on Edgar Allan Poe, and some of them more loosely than others.
Well, 2 of them are
very loose.
The Raven got the same name. There you go.
And Haunted Palace was not nothing
Palace
new.
Is a Lovecraft.
It's a Lovecraft.
It's a Lovecraft.
That they threw
it's like one. Okay, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
It's one of the first. It may be the first Lovecraft movie.
Yeah. But and then Vincent Price is in some of them. He was supposed to be in the premature burial, but he had some kind of contract issue and he couldn't get it, so they got Ray Milland. So he was actually going to be in premature burial. But then they got Ray Milland, and then I guess
I wonder if that would have been another movie where he was like sad about premature burial.
Right, and then there's chandeliers, and there's
palaces,
fancy houses,
there's
castles.
There's castles, but they're in America.
There's
a New England castle.
There are secret passages in every single one of these fucking movies. Secret passages.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure. There's secret passages.
Is there a secret passage in premature burial?
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's
there
a
is.
thing underneath the building. I can't remember.
No, there's a secret passage in there. So yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of similarities to them. And I will say one thing about this is that all 5 of these films pretty much share the same visual vibe. They're made like in like a 4-year span. Right.
He was churning these things out.
Right.
They're on the half. Whenever they're outside, I'm like, well, that's the same as last time.
And some of the movies they're using some of the same footage and stuff.
Oh
too,
yeah,
for sure. Oh, and then in 3 of these, houses burned down. So
and they used the same. Well, in 2 of them, he used the same effect of they just show the house and then there's fire behind it.
I'm like that. They used that in the same one. Yeah. Okay. First one. Yeah. Okay,
but now we'll actually talk about the movie.
We are, this is just in general. So, and have you seen any of these before?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think I had.
Okay.
When I watched The Raven, and I'm like, I guess I may have seen some of that before.
Okay.
Because that was the one that was on the most.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the kid-friendly one.
So I didn't really see... I showed that one to my kid when he was like 6.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I've seen that one. And it's funny, last year... Because I'm not a horror fan. Though I like some horror films. It's my least.
Tell you, like maybe 2 of these are kind of.
It's my least favorite genre. Not saying that I don't like horror films, but it's just my least favorite genre. I wanted to watch last year for Halloween. I'm like, you know what? I want to watch some of these Corman films. So I watched Tower of London, and then I watched House of Usher and Pit and the Pendulum for the first time. So I watched them just last year. I have not seen Premature Burial, and I've never seen The Haunted Palace.
Okay.
So those 2 I haven't seen before. So House of Usher. This is the first one. It was made in 1960, and it was actually the fall of the House of Usher, and it even says that in the titles, but they must have shortened it at some point for the House of Usher.
I think it's basically, we have the American one. I think over in England it was called the fall of House of Usher, I think.
And some of these movies do have a lot of stuff similar that I might get them mixed up. Just to let you know.
I guarantee you're going to get some stuff mixed up.
Because there are some. I'm going to try really hard.
Got notes, and then I looked at my notes, and I'm like, I don't know. These balls say the same thing.
I'll do kind of run some. I feel like in general.
But okay, at the end of our 5, we're going to rate them.
Oh, I'll rate them
in our order.
Yeah, I will.
No, not in stars.
No.
Like 1 through 5 for the 5.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I was actually going to do that. Actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but House of Usher. It's funny. I think House of Usher and Pit and the Pendulum are the most similar to each other.
They are very similar.
Yeah.
To such a degree, they have they're the 2 other movies with premature burial.
Yeah.
That aren't premature
burial. Right. So House of Usher, this guy played by Mark Damon, Winthrop. He travels to the house. And he's looking for his fiance. So he's like, "Hey, I want to see my fiance. We met in Boston."
Yeah.
And the butler was awesome in this movie, by the way. I really liked him.
Actually, I really did like him.
He was great. I think his
showed
name was
up
Harry
on,
L. But yeah.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Because he legit was concerned about this woman he met in Boston. And then the plot of this thing mentions she can't really leave the house. And I'm like, but weren't they in Boston? I don't understand the plot of this movie.
Right. Well, so they're worried that, she can't leave the house. Oh, she's ill. He's like, well, I insist that I stay here. I came all the way from Boston.
I'm her fiance.
So introduce me or announce me into the house. And so they get Vincent Price. Vincent Price comes. Well, in all of the movies where Vincent Price shows up, he always has an awesome entrance. So in this one, they're about to open the door, and he opens up the door, and boom, his face just comes in the frame, and I'm like, "There's fucking Vincent Price."
That's Vince.
And this is the only one where he's clean shaven, and he's got like bleached blonde hair.
Oh yeah, actually,
because
this being the first one, I'm like, oh shit, that's not his hair.
Yeah,
but it looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah.
But he plays Madeline's brother. Madeline's the fiance, and Roderick is his name. And
they're both ushers.
They just call him Usher pretty much. And but Vincent, and of course he's super weird, and he's just like, oh no, she can't leave the house. We can't do this.
Yeah,
he's
very
secretive.
some of my issues.
Really?
I wanted it to be less acty. Okay.
Oh, these movies are very acty.
He's very acty, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna tell you, a couple of them, I'm gonna give him pretty high praise on Vincent. Okay, but not in this one. I kind of was like, he's okay in this. You think he's the best in this one? Oh no. Nope, where it's later on, baby. You'll get there.
I actually think...
It might be because I had slogged through 4 other fucking movies.
I feel like this is my favorite performance of Vincent Price out of the 5. I really liked him in this movie a lot.
This might be your number 1 out of the 5 then. We'll see.
Well, I really liked...
We'll find out.
It's
not my number 1.
I really liked his... I mean, he's a melodramatic actor. He's overdoing... So he just... over-pronunciates everything, and that's just how he talks, and he's overdoing it. But I really liked his self-serious performance in this one, and it just...
See, some of it reminds me of that great... What was that? That John Lovitz character. Remember that in Saturday Night Live? Yeah.
No.
Remember that? His entire thing was, he's an actor!
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and I'm like, this says fucking Vincent Price is just doing that. Okay?
Yeah! Well,
acting!
But that's what I liked about it.
I can lie, and you'll believe me, and I'm like, not really, Vince.
That's why I kind of liked it, though. But anyways, so he foresees that the house is, like, cracking, which is pretty cool, actually.
It is pretty cool.
It's dying and stuff, but he's like, and he shows, like, the fiance is like, these are my family, and he shows them like his ancestors. I'm like, that's a murderer. She's gonna end up being a bad person. I don't want anyone else. I don't want the usher curse to go around.
If you're an usher, you end up being a monster.
What I didn't say
you're a fucking vampire, apparently.
Also, what I didn't say about all 5 of these movies, they're all like Victorian, like.
Yeah.
I call them horse and buggy
Except
horror.
for they all take place, including this one. In the United States of America. All in New England, I think.
So I call these horse and buggy...
maybe the Raven doesn't. I don't know where the Raven
So I call them horse and buggy horror films. That's what I call them.
Correct.
They're horse and carriage horror films. So anyways, man, he's trying to get Madeline away. He's like, come on, we're going to leave. We're going to leave right now. She gets into a heated argument, and she ends up having... Now, I've never heard this term until I'm watching this movie, but it's catalepsy, which is a condition.
I'm going to tell you, you hear it here. They're going to talk about it in 2 other fucking movies.
Yeah, they absolutely
and I'm
do.
like, again? They're going to bring up this thing?
So it's a condition that appears.
I don't think it's a real condition.
Well, hold on. Let's
That's
click
the thing Edgar Allan Poe made fucking up.
Wikipedia.
Okay?
Here. I don't know. It says that
It says, you literally don't have a pulse or breathe.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's called dying. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, so it's a condition where it appears that they're dead, and her brother knows that whatever's still alive, but he convinces her that she's dead and brings her.
He convinces him.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
No.
She's
dead.
That's not in this one. That's later.
See? You're getting them mixed up.
Premature burial.
Yeah.
He can think and he can kind of talk.
No.
But
So
he can't
no.
talk.
But in this, but anyways.
God damn it.
No. So they put her in they get her entombed or whatever like that. Yeah. Towards the end of the movie that's when Madeline's was, she's in the coffin, she's trying to get out. Then the house starts going under and all the shit, hell starts going, breaking loose and stuff. I'm not doing it justice. Anyways, so all of these movies, they are a vibe. They have a certain
One of
tone.
them has a very different vibe than the other.
Right.
Okay?
But this movie has a vibe, and I totally vibe with it. The first time I watched it, I liked it. When I watched it this time at the drive-in, I liked it even more. I really like the feeling of this movie. It is short, it's quick, it's an hour and 19 minutes. It is very talky because it's theatrical.
I had no problem with that,
and I liked that, and I liked this kind of gothic horror melodrama. When the house goes under and the house starts going, it looks so cool. The climaxes of most of these movies I actually really like. I really like the climax of this one as well, and I feel like it's the least cheesy one. This is pretty serious.
I'm gonna disagree.
You're gonna disagree, okay.
I mean, I didn't hate. Okay, I sound like I'm gonna shit in this movie. No, this was the first one of these ones.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, good, thank God. Because if these all sucked, I was going to be really mad. Then after this movie, I'm like, oh, good, this movie's good.
Yeah. I really liked it.
This movie isn't terrible.
So the first time I saw it, I gave it a 3. I'm a 3.5 now. I liked it more the second time I saw it. I think
I'm not going to give any star ratings till the end where I rate them all.
Oh, wow. No, I'm going to rate them all.
Then I'll give my star ratings at that point.
I feel like that this movie, for what it was trying to do, I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's near perfect. Like, they're trying to do the certain thing.
But I think this is the one that's the most actually from the fucking story.
It's probably the most accurate, probably.
Because the next one is the least accurate, okay?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, Roger Corman, cheesy B movie, he makes schlock. Dude knows where to place the fucking camera.
Oh, no.
He knows how to fucking frame things. He is a talented filmmaker.
At the very least, at this point, because by the 70s, he doesn't even direct anymore.
No, he doesn't.
Okay?
He doesn't.
At this point, I think it's because I guess there's 8 of these movies, okay?
Yeah.
What are the other 3? Do you know what they are?
So, Mask of Red Death,
okay.
The Tomb of Legia, and one more, and I can't remember.
Okay.
So.
These are his passion projects.
Absolutely.
Because this is where, before he was a producer.
Yeah.
Because I did find out some stuff about this movie. Because it's the first one they made. He had to sell this movie to American International Pictures.
Yeah.
And American International Pictures was sad because there wasn't a villain in this movie.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, Vincent Price is basically a fucking villain.
Yeah.
Also, but he had to sell it that the house was the villain.
Yeah.
Because the house, it does kind of feel like the house is trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And you can't leave.
No.
And when she tries to leave, because he convinces her, we're going to fucking leave. We're going to leave today.
Yeah.
Okay? And then she's like, no. And she's like, okay, we're going to do it. And they obviously never get out. She dies a half hour later. And by dies, I mean, goes into this shock thing. Yeah.
Well, the thing that's interesting about all these movies is that they were shot in like 15 days.
Oh,
that fucking blows my mind.
That's the whole thing. Roger Corman was still always known. If anything, he was under budget.
Always, yeah.
He crushed it.
Because I was looking at this, the budget was $300,000. $100,000 went to Vincent Price.
He was already that big a star.
Yeah. So, and at this point...
That's a huge amount of money.
At this point, though, I think Roger Corman, this is his first time working with Vincent Price. So he's just like, this is probably like, dude, we want you in my movie. And then he probably had a good time working with him, so he got him for a bunch of other movies. The follow-up was...
He's in 7 of the 8 of these. He's just not Premature Burial.
The next one was Pit and the Pendulum, but we're not going to talk about that one yet.
That was the next one. So these are not shown in the actual
They were not shown in order, no.
Weird.
Yes, we don't know what you think of it yet. It sounds like you liked it.
I know, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let's see if I have any more notes.
I'm a 3.5 on it, though. But I really like it. It's a perfect Halloween movie. Watch this on Halloween.
She is basically obviously entombed.
Yeah.
But previously, they talk about part of the Usher curse is when you die, you come back and have superhuman strength. There's some one point they
there's
said
something weird,
something about
yeah,
superhuman strength. She does. She breaks out of that casket and has superhuman zombie strength. And there's not a full explanation.
Yeah.
And then the house burns down or whatever. Okay?
All right. The next one is The Raven. It has a house that burns. It has chandeliers. It has a castle. It takes place in Victorian time. It's a horse and buggy. That's where the similarities end.
This is not a horror film.
It is not.
It has nothing to do with The Raven.
No.
It starts off with a quote from The Raven. It ends sort of, where Vincent Price talks right to the camera with a quote, Nevermore. And I'm like, The Raven, who's in this Peter Lorre, never actually says there was Nevermore. And I'm like, fuck you, movie.
So this is The Raven. This is actually the one that has the coolest poster, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the reason I think this movie is the more iconic. That poster, first of all, it has Vincent Price. Peter Lorre, it has Boris Karloff, all in the poster.
All in the same movie, and the other 4 movies...
This is a kid movie.
All the other
children.
All the other 4 movies have the same tone. This is a completely different tone.
This is a fun film.
It is. It is the most fun of the movies for sure. I'm not saying the other ones aren't fun. But this one has like a playful tone.
This is one you can show to literally any kid, and they're not going to be scared.
No.
Especially by the end, where the good guy unequivocally wins.
It might be an introduction to creepier stuff for kids, maybe.
Yeah.
Vincent Price plays Dr. Craven, and he's a magician. So these are sorcerers in this movie, and it starts with him kind of drawing a raven. Yeah. That's
when you find out. Oh, he's a fucking wizard of some sort.
Yeah. But then the window opens up, and he makes this pouty face.
Well, although keep in mind, before all that, there's this cool paint.
Yeah, which they use in Pit and the Pendulum as well.
Yeah, they use that too.
Yeah.
But it's they swirling paint and stuff. And I'm like, oh, no, look at that. That's pretty cool.
And then, so Peter Lorre, the Raven, shows up, and it starts talking, and it's Peter Lorre talking. And you find out that Peter Lorre was turned into a raven. He's also a sorcerer. He's turned a raven by an evil sorcerer, Dr. Scarabus, who is a rival of Dr. Craven's.
So because this world is chock full of sorcerers.
That's what it is. And so
this neighborhood.
And then you find out from with Vincent Price talking to his daughter that his Vincent Price's wife has died. But that obviously comes back. So obviously spoilers later. So Vincent Price turns back Peter Lorre back, and at first when he turns him back to human, he's still molting and has wings and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and then,
how could you do
it again?
And obviously Peter Lorre, people that don't know, Ren from Ren and Stimpy was modeled after Peter Lorre.
Oh yeah, his voice, it's not even.
You idiot!
It's not even trying to be different. Okay.
No, it's trying.
It's just Peter Lorre.
Right. So they go to Dr. Scarabus'.
Well, he's saying, "I want to go beat him up."
Yeah.
Even though he did this thing, and Vincent Price is like, he's gonna kick your ass. Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyways, they go to his castle.
Better than you are.
And then
you suck.
And then his daughter goes with. And then Peter Lorre's son, played by Jack Nicholson.
God, how is he so bad in this movie?
I think he's fine.
Oh God, I here's the thing: it's Jack Nicholson. I want to go, oh fucking Jack Nicholson, he's gonna crush this, and I'm like, fuck, all he does is just say lines. He doesn't ever give a shit.
When he gets under the spell of Scarabus and he starts manically whipping the horses. That was funny.
That was that was when they first started traveling.
Actually,
but boy,
before they travel, there's that one fight with the coachman, that big bald dude.
Yeah, that was cool. Actually.
Scarabus kind of takes him over and he's trying to kill him, but then Vincent Price just points his finger and green lasers come out and then he fixes them.
Yeah, that's kind of when you find out, because by the end of this movie you find out, Vincent Price has just been fucking playing possum.
Oh, absolutely.
He can actually kind of crush this dude.
Yeah. So anyways, they go into there, and then you learn that Boris Karloff actually stole Vincent Price's wife. Vincent Price's wife left him. She left him for Boris Karloff.
Doesn't he think she's dead in this?
Yeah, I already said that. Yeah,
but I mean, that's another movie too.
That's another movie too. No, Vincent Price thought she was...
Half these fucking movies, women fake their death to leave and go with another dude.
Vincent Price thought she was dead, but then he's like, "What? You're not dead? You left me for Boris
Lenore
Karloff?"
from the poem, Lenore. Yeah. And I'm like, but that movie, in that poem, Lenore is this tragic figure. In this, here's the thing: this movie is actually pretty fun.
Oh, I think
it's fucking called The Raven. You're ruining The Raven. Okay, The Raven is fucking classic.
It's about Peter Lorre. Let's do this.
I know, but it's The Raven. You can. They've made 8 fucking movies called The Raven.
Yeah.
Okay.
This movie. So the movie ends with a duel between Boris Karloff and Vincent Price, and that duel is so fucking awesome. That's the best part of the movie. It is like a 10-minute sequence.
If I saw this when I was a kid, I would have been cheering for that entire fucking thing.
It's
because the magic, even though in 2023 eyes, that shit all looks terrible.
Oh,
not all of it.
Actually,
some of it looks okay. What, though? But some of it looks real bad.
I like the way it looked because I just love the cheapness of it. It looked cool. It looks
cool. The time when they're like conjuring stuff and it looks like a cartoon thing, that makes sense. They just fucking create.
Well, the knives are cartoons. I love that. The axe cartoons. I love that.
That stuff. I mean, it's not. I'm not ripping on it.
I like that.
It's just here's the thing. We're old men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're fucking 17 and if you're not 17, if you're 8 and you watch this, you're used to watching fucking Jurassic Park where dinosaurs look like fucking giant actual dinosaurs that could pick you up and eat you. In this, actually, the bird looks like a bird because it's never a fucking not a bird.
Yeah,
it doesn't move its beak when it talks, but it's
having
fantastically well-trained
Vincent
bird.
Price and Jack Nicholson interacting with the bird was really funny. The end sequence when they're that duel, you know what it reminded me of? It came out the same year, so I don't know which one came first. Disney's Sword in the Stone, when Merlin and Madame Mim.
Well, that didn't come out the same year.
It's 63. It was 63.
I thought that was was much later.
No, it's 63.
Oh wow.
So that one,
they didn't influence each other.
But Madame Mim and Merlin, when they battle each other and they're turning into different things, that's what it reminded me of. That this thing. So what happens in the duel is like the first thing is Boris Karloff throws a snake at Vincent Price, and all of a sudden he turns it into a scarf. And then he throws something else and it turns into a bat. And then he turns it into a fan.
And
I love
Vincent Price's character, whatever his fucking name, he is smiling the whole time because he knows he's going to win.
Oh my God.
Because he knows this has all been a fucking ruse so I can show up here and kick your ass.
Then when Boris Karloff throws that spear and it goes right through his stomach, but then it's like full of like sawdust or something.
Yeah, he like reaches in there and it's all sawdust.
And then he's on top of the chandelier throwing fucking eggs at him and I'm like, I fucking love this movie. It's so awesome. So I think this movie, it's not the best one, but it is the most fun and it is so much fun to watch. I feel like, especially seeing that at a drive-in, it's just a hoot and hollering good time. I think all the stuff with like Peter Lorre yelling and even him going like, "Oh, there's not many times where I'm sober." You know, it's like when he's that shit is so funny.
That was like I kick your ass while I'm sober. No, admittedly, that's not very often. Because Peter Lorre's good. He's never not good.
Oh, he
was great in M for crying out loud, where he's actually scary.
Again, this was shot in 15 days. And
of course they all were. They only have 2 weeks, buddy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It does say that Lorre...
Is that... Okay, actually, I want to know.
Yeah.
Is that 3 weeks of 5 working day things, or is it 15 straight days?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But it's funny because they're looking at the thing here. Peter Lorre ad-libbed a number of famous lines, including, "How the hell should I know?" And... "Shall I ever ask the rare and radiant Lenore?"
I did somewhat get the impression that he didn't know what he was supposed to say, and he just made up shit.
Yeah.
And it all works.
It is. And I guess Karloff it threw him off because he had everything planned out. And so he didn't like all the improvisations and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay. Because Karloff...
But they all did get along, according to everyone else, though. But
a quintessential actor.
Oh, he's great in this movie, too.
He's great in this, but he's always great.
Yeah. Have we done a movie with Karloff? I can't remember.
I don't know. We did Lugosi last week.
Oh, we did. Oh. Karloff was better than Lugosi in this
movie. Actually, Karloff was just better.
Yes, he is.
Because Lugosi was immediately
Vincent Price,
and he barely could speak English.
So Vincent Price is not in serious mode. His tongue is in cheek. He is smiling.
Oh yeah,
and almost winking at the camera.
That's
and
one
even
of the reasons why this is a very different.
And then when he looks at the camera at the end and he like quotes the Raven or whatever, it was just like "the Raven nevermore," you know. And I'm like, yes,
because the Raven, he somehow muted the Raven.
Yeah.
And so now he can't talk. And I'm like, is that what that fucking line means?
But that's what it was funny. No, I think this movie is just a great B movie joy. This one out of the other ones, I think this one is almost critic proof because all this cheesy stuff that's happening, this is on purpose, I think.
Well, okay,
and
I agree.
Think it's funny. Yeah.
Unless you go into it expecting anything to do with the Raven, I can see.
Oh,
there were definitely reviews at the time where like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this quoting the Raven? Why are they even using Lenore's character's name? And the Raven talks.
If you are going
but he never once fucking says the famous line the Raven always fucking said.
if you are going into this movie expecting a faithful adaptation of The Raven, you are going to be disappointed.
Well, first
This
of all,
is
The
not what it
Raven's
is.
like what? That takes 5 minutes to read.
Right.
It's not going to be that big.
No, I think this movie's just a blast. I think it's a 3.5 for me as well.
Well, you'll find out in 3 movies.
Okay. Next one is the Premature Burial. This is the first new one to me. I have not seen this one. This one, like I said earlier, was supposed to star Vincent Price, but he couldn't. Originally, this wasn't going to be an American International Picture. It was going to be a different studio, and so Vincent Price couldn't do it because he had a contract with American International. So then, when they started making the movie, it switched to American International, and like, oh, we guess we could have gotten Vincent Price, but they didn't. Premature Burial, Ray Milland plays, and Hazel Court's in this again. She was also in the last movie.
Yeah.
Not to go away from what we're doing, but Hazel Court, I got to tell you who she was married to. She was married to Don Taylor, who directed The Great Scout and Cat House Thursday. So, sorry, just thought that was funny, which we did in the very first episode.
They got married in 1963, and then they...
So they were married when he made Great Scout.
That movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which we did on the first episode of
She
season
didn't
1.
leave him after all the horrible things that happened in that movie.
All right, Premature Burial. Ray Milland plays this artist or rich guy or whatever, and he has this irrational fear of being buried alive, and he's convinced his father was buried alive. Right?
Yeah, he says I could hear him.
Yes.
And I'm like, could anybody else hear him?
Yeah.
Do you have super hearing?
Yeah.
He kind of does have super hearing.
Yeah. Well, the movie opens with like a burial.
That was this movie, right?
Well, the movie opens with a burial, and then the coffin opens up, and the you see the body, and then Ray Milland's like and then the titles show up. Well, he has his girlfriend or fiance again. She is wants to marry him, and he's like, you know what? I can't marry you because I have this fear, and it's I'm gonna bring you down. I can't. She's like, you know what? I'm all in. I'm all in on you. I don't care if you're nuts. So here, I'm gonna stay with you. But Guy's sister, who I actually really liked her in this movie, Heather Angel played her. She played the older sister, and she's like, I don't want, and she's kind of skeptical. Doesn't really want anyone else involved in his life. She knows that he's goofy. Alan Napier is in there as her father. And he was Alfred in the Batman movie.
Yeah, I recognized him immediately.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's Alfred.
Yeah, and the Batman 60s show. She gets married to him, but and it starts off like, oh, they're getting along just fine, but he starts getting crazier and crazier about this and having dreams and nightmares, which some of those nightmares are pretty fucking cool.
They are. They're
very cool.
They're very cool. They're very cool.
Out of all the movies, this one might be the creepiest and scariest one, maybe. I don't know. This one had some creepy shit. It
does have some creepy shit, but it's still one of the later ones for me.
Okay.
That I actually found the creepiest.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But he even makes this tomb, like a crypt kind of thing, where he's like, you know what? I can escape. I can push this button and the coffin opens up, and then there's an escape passage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had this whole
plan.
Goldberg thing.
If I get buried,
and one of his dreams is he does get buried in there, and none of that shit works.
Right. And then, spoiler alert, he actually has that thing that they say, I already forgot what it's called.
Catalepsy.
Yeah.
Which here in my notes,
yeah,
I put, is cataleptic real? It did autocomplete. That's all on my phone. Because I did it. I'm like,
oh, it did.
It must be real. That's a real word.
This is also the movie that had some jump scares in the movie where
it did have jump scares.
Where people are walking behind someone and
there's no other jump scares in any of this fucking movies.
And then a shoulder grabs them like, oh, and someone jumps.
There's kind of some jump scares in Haunted Palace.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think so. He does get buried alive, and as much as Ray Milland is in this movie, it was going to be Vincent Price. Vincent Price, I could absolutely see him being in this movie. Ray Milland is pretty fucking good in this movie.
Actually, that was the weird thing. Maybe that's why I'm weird about the Vincent Price. Because I saw him in this one, and I was more believing that he was actually afraid of this. Now, granted, it might be because of all the people who are afraid of premature burial, he's the only one who not only is premature, who's put in a casket, you then hear his inner monologue of like, what the fuck's happening? Stop it! No, don't bury me!
Yeah.
And shit like that. I'm like, holy fuck!
Yeah.
It's happening! And he's fucking, he can see it!
But then he comes out, and then he goes on a revenge kill crazy rampage, and he's killing people.
Because he's figured out that she was part of it. Which, I'm going to tell you, weirdly, I thought she was creepy the whole thing, and I'm like, is she fucking in on this?
Yeah.
She was in on this!
Yeah.
Which I'm like, god damn it, is she just good?
So the last...
she was like, it was subtle.
Yeah.
But I could tell she didn't actually care.
So the last 15 minutes, is him going on this revenge rampage. This is the third movie in a row. I like this one too. This one. This one's fun. I gave it. This is a 3-star for me.
I actually like this one a lot.
This one's really good. Because he also was really good in X, which we also really like.
Yeah, he was good in X.
Now you probably like that one more. I like this one better than X, actually. I really like the Victorian.
I'm pretty on par.
Yeah.
I would say.
I really like the ending of this, and I just really like Ray Milland's performance. He goes full manic in this movie.
Oh yeah,
and
there's
he's so
there's
good.
a few things I very appreciated in this.
Yeah.
Okay. There's like a song because he like sees like the gravediggers in his like head.
One of them is Dick Miller. Again,
he like sees them in his head, and he'll hear one of them whistles.
Oh, that
and
theme,
then later on, she's playing the same song, and that's when I'm like, is she fucking in on this?
Yeah.
She's fucking in on this, right? You don't play that fucking... That's not a super common song.
Right.
It's a fine, normal whistle song, but it's not one you hear all the time.
No.
And so I'm like, is she fucking in on this?
No.
So that was one of those subtles where I'm like, this is part of it. She's fucking in on this, and stuff like that. That kind of stuff really pulled me into the movie, and I'm like,
okay,
I gotta fucking know.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's only 81 minutes long,
I do think...
So it won't be very fucking long to
This
find
was
out.
a pretty involving film. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And, again, Roger Corman's direction is great. Like, he knows how to frame his shots.
No, he's fine.
He's got
I think he does good camera movements.
Absolutely.
He'll get good things in foreground, background shots that show, like...
And the colors are so great, and they pop in this movie. They pop.
And every time in any of these movies, I think particularly this one, they are trying to show you, like, how big the mansion is or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the rooms. And I'm like, fuck, he filmed that great.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can tell this is a fucking big house.
Yes.
Now, a lot of these movies are, I'm super rich, but for some reason I'm fucking miserable, but we're never going to talk about my servants who also have to be sad, okay? Although in this, the servant, actually in House of Usher, they have a servant who apparently is part of the curse. Okay, he's stuck there too, as far as I can tell. Okay?
But yeah, that's Premature Burial. Next one is Pit and the Pendulum.
Pit and the Pendulum.
So yeah, I saw this one before. This one has John Kerr. Instead, this is another guy that shows up, but he is the brother of Vincent Price's wife, right, or something? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's looking for his sister.
He's fine. It's weird because in the beginning he says he's here to find his sister.
Yes.
And then, like the next thing you find out, he says he found out his sister died, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
what are you talking about?
Yes.
You didn't know that in the previous scene. You had to be told she was dead.
Yes.
What's going on in this movie?
Yeah. So he finds out his sister is dead from a rare blood disorder or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, how come you didn't tell me or whatever? But Vincent Price in this movie he's acting the most scared in this one. He's like,
yeah, I can
so it's
see
a different
that was some
performance.
of my issue. Period in the beginning where he's like scared, I never fucking believed him. In the end when he goes pure evil, fucking spectacular.
Yeah, of course. So in this one, he comes in, John Kerr is like asking things around. There's also a doctor who's friends with who pretty much he diagnosed her like, oh, pronounced her dead, you're dead. But then
he seems to basically live there.
Right.
He's there all the time.
The doctor is kind of hanging out, and then it's his. Is that Vincent Price's sister that's there? Someone?
I can't remember. It's not long ago.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Don Sebastian and Don Medina or Don Catherine.
Okay,
yeah, it must be his sister. Yeah,
they got the same last
name. Sure,
name.
whatever.
The characters have the same last name.
Anyways, then you find out too that. You find out because Vincent Price tells him very little. It's like, oh, it's a blood disorder. It's this, it's that. But then he believes that she was buried alive again.
When they open up the thing, he finds out she was buried alive.
Yeah.
Did he think that beforehand?
Maybe.
I thought that was he just found out, and it just made him even more insane.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he was in there, and she had her hands up like she was scratching a thing, and I'm like,
holy shit,
that is terrifying. Until you think about it, I'm like, no, when she's dead, she's not gonna have her hands up.
Yeah.
She's not Han Solo.
Then you find out that Vincent Price is pretty fucked up because his character saw his mom tortured when he was a kid
by his father, I guess?
then his uncle was killed because his father found out that they were having an affair. So it was adulteress,
Yep.
What happens is it kind of happens again. So we're going to go into spoilers. The last part of the movie, which actually has a kind of a neat twist. I didn't necessarily see
where she was faking it the whole time.
where she was faking it the whole time, and she was having an affair with the doctor.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like, holy
and they
shit.
were doing this all to drive him crazy.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
And this is where the actual name "Pit and the Pendulum" is finally used.
Oh yeah.
Not only in like the literally last 7 minutes of this movie.
Yeah. Well, and his dad was like an inquisitor, so he has all these torture devices.
Yeah.
So, but now he has this Pit and the Pendulum, which is a pretty cool looking design and a great matte painting or whatever that they did.
I'm like, you never really get to see a full body shot of him with the full apparatus.
Yeah.
You'll see a thing that kind of like touches his belly.
Yep.
But I'm like, he does a good job with the camera where I'm like, I can believe
Yeah, it looks
that
really
that's
good.
the thing that's hitting him.
Yeah.
But you never actually see them on the screen at
Right.
the same time.
Well, because Vincent Price takes John Kerr's character, Francis, who's looking for his sister. He starts embodying that he's his father. He starts like thinking that everyone else is like the uncle.
Yeah,
and
he basically goes completely crazy.
Yeah.
And he believes himself to be his own father.
Yeah.
And he starts talking as pure Vincent Price evil.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Even though the next movie has Vincent Price evil, in this one, he is more insanely over the top evil. For like the 10 minutes in this movie that he's evil. Okay?
Again, this movie is awesome. It looks great. The camera work is good.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent Price, it's probably my least favorite performance of him because of the scared stuff in the beginning.
Thank you.
He's,
Thank you for finally being correct, Austin.
However, he's still really good in this movie. I really like him. That didn't bother me. That's just why it's my least favorite.
It's just that when he goes crazy, I was like,
yeah.
Oh, that just makes me feel bad about the previous parts of the movie
No,
because the crazy stuff is so fucking awesome.
I still think, for me, it's still a fun 3. Now, I'm trying to look in my notes.
Although, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The last shot in this movie, the best last thing
Oh.
of all the fucking movies by a mile.
Well, with the eyes,
Yeah,
right?
because guess what? They forgot about somebody. And they lock up that thing and she's still trapped in there. And I'm like, oh, fuck, premature burial!
That was pretty good. Now, it's funny. I'm trying to look at my notes. I don't think it was in Haunted Palace. But in one of these movies, there's a shot. And I wish I could remember what movie it was. There's a shot. They all run together. There's a shot in the movie where they're walking around looking at different things. It might be this movie. I can't remember. The camera is focused on the candles. And then it goes over and looks something over here. And then the camera follows them walking with the candle again, and it shows something else. And it just...
That might have been premature burial.
I can't remember which one it was.
I think it might have been premature burial.
But I was completely blown away by the camera work. And
I think that might be when he was showing them his special premature burial room.
I don't know. It wasn't that. It was when they were walking down the corridors in the path.
I don't
so I don't think it was that one.
I seem to have a vague memory of that.
I want to say...
I don't know which one it's in.
I want to say it was either in...
Don't watch 5 movies in a row of the same fucking movie.
Maybe it was Haunted Palace. It could have been Haunted Palace. I don't remember what it is, but I just remember I was completely blown away by that shot, and it was really good. But anyways, I like this one quite a bit. Again, all of these movies, they're perfect Halloween movies. I want to watch them on Halloween night. It'd be really good. I do have to say one caveat between having this movie marathon. They all start kind of running together. I think they would be best by watching them like one at a time.
Yeah, don't watch 5 of these in a row.
Yeah. If you watch,
because we're having the real issue. I don't know what movie
I feel like that if I watched them one at a time, I would like them even more. I really do. If I was watching them on its own one at a time, so because I do really like them, I think they're really fun. All right, the last one is Haunted Palace.
Haunted Palace doesn't have premature burial in it, does it?
I don't think so.
It has burned alive.
Oh my God! Yes, holy shit, that scene. Okay, so this one's actually more based off of Lovecraft.
Yeah.
And what's funny, I was reading in Wikipedia here.
Nobody had heard of Lovecraft yet.
The studio wanted to be Edgar Allan Poe, so he's like, well, let's do Haunted Palace and do one quote at the end or something. Yeah. And that's literally what they did.
Going into this, I'm like, Haunted Palace, it's going to have ghosts and stuff. I guess sort of.
No, yeah, I guess.
Kind of, but not really.
It starts off in Arkham, Massachusetts. Arkham, like Arkham Horror of Lovecraft. There it is, yeah.
Arkham Asylum, yes.
Yeah. So now in this one, it's Vincent Price plays kind of like a warlock, and Kerwin is his name. He is trying to summon the Elder Gods, right? Yeah. It's totally...
He has the Necronomicon. They name drop the Necronomicon.
Yeah. Well, they show it. They show the Necronomicon.
Shit. This is the where people even heard of this. Nobody had known anything about that shit before this.
This is your favorite one, isn't it?
This is my favorite.
I knew it.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, I didn't. Now this one I haven't seen either. And so this is my first time watching it. And
Okay.
yeah, it was really cool. He's a warlock, and he gets discovered while he's doing this, like almost in mid-ritual. The town completely, like, you know, goes full, you know, they have a full lynch mob mode, and they take him, they string him up, or not string him up, but they tie him to a tree, and they burn him like, you know, like a witch. And he gets burned. And he dies.
Yeah. He gets burnt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burned
And so then
to
you're
death.
like, it was funny, and after it was done, I'm like, oh, that was a good movie. Like, what now? And then it goes 110 years later. Well, he also says, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to get your kids, and all this stuff. And one thing that it wasn't clear in this movie, though, at least at the beginning, that all those guys just live longer?
They didn't make that clear. They had, like, mutant children. They're only in, like, the one scene, and then the one, like, kills one of them, and I'm like, what is all that?
Yeah.
Still cool. No explanation what the fuck it was.
So now
but
it's...
I'll say, that scene
Yeah.
where those people, those mutated people came out and just looked at the family, I'm like, holy shit! Of all these movies, well, the Pit and Pendulum stuff at the end was kind of scary.
When we
Nope,
were...
fucking scary.
No,
okay?
when we're talking...
Terrifying.
And when you're talking about mutated people, I'm talking, like, they have, like, putty on their mouth and eyes to make it look like they have no eyes.
They
And
don't have putty. They were born with no eyes, Austin. Okay?
that's the makeup putty they got on. It looks cool, though.
It
makes
does.
look
They
like
did a good
have-
job.
Yeah.
This is a color film.
Oh, yeah.
But they do some cool makeup stuff in this where periodically I'm like,
people are muted.
this is kind of like a black and white film periodically.
A little bit. But now Vincent Price and his wife are now coming into town, and his new name is Ward, Charles Ward.
He's playing an ancestor.
Yep.
Or a descendant.
Right. And they have this house that they can go to, but of course all the people come and they're like, holy shit, that looks just like Kerwin.
Yeah.
Beware.
Because we've all seen that painting.
We're in trouble now.
Because we never got around to burning that palace down until the end of this movie.
We're in big trouble. Vincent Price has no idea what's going on, but the painting in the house ends up possessing Vincent Price pretty much.
Is it? I guess.
I feel like it's from the
right,
painting.
because
It's
once
like-
they destroy it, it basically breaks the spell.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
it's
like the
kind of like the
painting.
painting from Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. So the painting so Vincent Price starts and he goes full on evil.
Oh
in
yeah,
this,
here
and
I
he's
actually
like-
liked him the most in this, even when he wasn't evil, and then when he would switch on a dime, and I'm like, fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was
he's the best in all the movies.
He's very good in this movie. This is my second favorite performance.
This
from
is
him,
my
one.
favorite one of the bunch.
I really liked him in this. All the stuff when he was the bad guy and the townspeople are coming in and he's getting the elder gods and that stuff was cool. Like that little thing that's in that pit, like
yeah, that was an elder guy.
that was pretty awesome.
You actively can't really get a very good look at it, and I'm like,
Because they're shaking the
something?
camera.
The little bit I know, I mean, here's the thing: we're both board gamers.
Yeah.
So we've had Lovecraft thrown at us for the last fucking 15 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lovecraft board games.
There's a
for
shit
sure.
ton of it.
Yeah.
And so we both know about looking at the elder gods makes you crazy. Drives you insane. You can never actually describe them.
Yep.
Cthulhu, we now know what he looks like. You're not supposed to know what he looks like. He's never really given a good description in any of the stories. Okay.
I also think this movie has one of the best scores. The music in this, actually, the main theme when it goes da 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 da, that sounded like I swear to God, the composer from Bram Stoker's Dracula stole that because that sounds like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I forgot to mention something from
You know,
one of the movies
another
about soundtrack, but well, too late.
No, you can mention it, sure.
Where was it? Was it in PUFNSTUF?
Oh,
No.
not even that.
No. I'm sorry. The theme song from Out of Frame a Fig, only 8 movies ago,
Vic Mizzy.
sounds exactly like the Love Bug theme song.
So Vic,
If you watch that movie
yeah.
again, which you're never going to, well, then you'll go like, holy shit, it's a fucking Love
Vic
Bug.
Mizzy did the music for the Addams Family and stuff. That's the guy
Okay.
who did the score for that. Anyways, back to Haunted Palace. Yeah, this one is just it doesn't have like a major set piece like, you know, Pit and the Pendulum or anything like that, but it just had this overall kind of cool, creepy vibe through the movie. And the finale,
It shows like it has the town, which the other movies don't have.
Yeah.
They only have the palace.
This probably has the most characters in the movie.
Oh yeah. And you're right. This is the second movie where Vincent Price plays two people. One's an ancestor of the other. But I don't know about the people in town. They all looked identical.
Yes.
But one of them had like webbed fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that a mutation?
The great character
Because
actors in here.
kid?
Alicia Cook Jr. He's really good. But Lon Chaney Jr. is...
Oh, he's pretty good,
He's
too.
good in this, too. And he plays one of his servants. Plays one of Price's servants, and he's like, "You're back, master." You know, and so, but he is all
he's
in.
Been living in that palace for 110 fucking years.
Well, his face looks green.
He is the same person. Him and the other guy are the same people from 110 years ago.
Yeah.
And they make that 100% clear.
But yeah, no, this one has a cool finale with, again, the town coming to try to kill him and burn the place down. But then Vincent Price kind of snaps out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Or does he?
Or does he?
Yes.
But also, for some reason, they let him go, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure lynch mobs just kill you no matter what. Okay?
No, I like this one.
No matter how nice you subtly seem, they still kill you.
I like this one. This was, again, for me, another 3 stars. So, but you did really like this one. And why did you like this one more than the other ones?
Mostly, I liked it.
The Lovecraft stuff?
It was the first one where there was more... The end of the Pit and Pendulum is scary.
Yes.
Because of the torture.
Yeah.
In this, the scary shit is just fucking existential terror.
Yeah.
And it worked for me.
Yeah.
Okay, for a lot more of the movie.
Okay.
Pit and the Pendulum, I liked it when he went crazy. It kind of started dragging for me in the middle.
Okay.
Because I'm like...
I can see that.
Because the thing is called Pit and the Pendulum. And this movie is like an hour and 25 minutes long.
Yes.
And we're an hour in, and I'm like, there's no mention of a pit or a pendulum yet. Okay? What the fuck?
You still had another 15 minutes to go until they
Yeah,
said something.
they barely.
But yeah, so out of these movies, so I liked all of them.
I liked them all, too.
I liked all of them, which is awesome.
This is a weird episode where I'm not going to give superstars for anything, but I'm also not shitting on any of these movies.
No.
And including How to Grab a Fucking Fig.
Yeah. You actually gave that a 3. So no, this was good.
It.
So star ratings, are you like 3s on all these or 2.5?
I'm going to go, okay, I'll give you my rating, my order.
Okay,
from
here's
1
your order.
to 5.
1 to 5.
Haunted Palace, number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, Raven. Okay. Raven is number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3, Premature Burial.
Okay.
Then Pit and the Pendulum.
Okay.
Nope. No, then House of Usher, then Pit and the Pendulum.
Okay.
Pit and the Pendulum, that one I'm only going to give 2.
What?
But Haunted Palace is 3.
2 for Pit and the Pendulum?
It bored the shit out of me most of the time.
They're all 3s.
I know. Come on.
Except for 3.5. Yeah. We are.
Okay.
Okay. So here's mine. Mine's actually almost the same, except Haunted Palace is my least favorite.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I'm gonna
still loved it.
Hold
so
on.
It's fine.
I'm gonna give it. There's a little caveat here because I watched all of these. You know, we watched them all.
Yeah.
I feel like
That's
if I
one
would
of my
watch,
problems.
I would feel like if we watched them individually, I guarantee you, if I watch Haunted Palace again, I'll like it even more. Same thing with some of these other ones. I think I'll like more.
That might be my problem too. It was slogging through. For some reason, Haunted Palace felt realer to me, so I liked it after all the other ones felt hokey.
So my number 1 is House of Usher because I really liked. I just love how self-contained it was, and it was this tiny movie that just had. I loved the over-the-top performance from Vincent Price in that movie. That was my favorite performance of his. My second favorite is The Raven. So I really like The Raven. That was my number 2. My number 3 is also Premature Burial.
Okay.
Because I really liked how creepy that was.
Yep.
My number 4 is Pit and the Pendulum.
Okay.
And then Haunted Palace. However,
so we just swapped our tops and bottoms.
But Haunted Palace might even go up even more if I watch it again.
Yeah, no, I do,
but I like all of them. They're all fun. They're all
for the star
great
ratings,
vibes.
Pit and the Pendulum is a 2. The middle 3 are 2.5s, and Haunted Palace
is a
3.
Okay. Yeah, they're all 3s, except for actually Raven and House of Usher 3.5s for me.
Okay.
I really like them. So out of all the movies, my favorite of the movies is House of Usher is my favorite of the bunch.
I want to say How to Frame a Fig.
Or PUFNSTUF.
But it's probably
PUFNSTUF.
It's probably Haunted Palace. But actually, PUFNSTUF is some... Here's the thing. Of all these movies, one I'm most likely to rewatch with some friends is PUFNSTUF.
Yeah. What movies to watch on my own? I would watch any of these Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, those are fine to watch alone.
I would watch by myself. I think...
It don't even take that long.
I've already said this, and I'm going to say it again. All 5 of these movies, you could pick any one of them, and it'd be perfect for a Halloween night.
Yeah.
I think any one of those 5 would be good.
No, I don't know about The Raven. Raven's not a Halloween movie.
I would still watch it on Halloween.
Raven could be a fucking Christmas movie for all I know. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I would still watch it.
You just want to watch it because it's Vince.
Oh, no.
It's your boyfriend, Vincent Price.
No. I would definitely watch it again. So, yeah, that's... Oh, okay. Best performance... I'm going with Vincent Price for House of Usher.
Best performance. I might go Vincent Price for Haunted Palace.
Yeah.
But weirdly...
that would be my second favorite performance.
Up there might be Ray. Because he was pretty fucking good. But I'm going to say...
Who?
Ray Milland.
Oh, I really did like him though.
And it would have been him until Haunted Palace.
Okay.
I thought I liked him more than Vince in the other three.
Right.
In the Raven, Vince is good. It's just not one you're going to call like a good acting thing. You know what I mean? He's fun.
So then...
Supporting, Witchy Poo, all the way.
Oh, supporting... even Best Actress.
Sorry, Best Actress is Witchy Poo.
Yeah.
Best Actress is Witchy Poo, baby.
How about supporting actress? Are you going to go with...
Supporting? I don't know. Is that...
Mama Cass?
It might be. Mama Cass was... Actually, no. It would be What's-Her-Face, the head witch, though.
Oh, okay.
Martha.
Yeah. Martha Ray.
Yeah, I think it would be her.
Yep.
She was really good. She was fun. They all were having the time of their fucking lives in that movie.
Right.
Because they had to put that insane makeup on. And they're like, fuck, I look awesome.
Supporting actor? Ooh, maybe Boris Karloff in The Raven.
It might be Boris.
Or Peter Lorre.
I like Peter Lorre. But weirdly, even though I kind of shit in House of Usher, the fiance from House of Usher
you liked
is
him?
fucking awesome.
Oh, the guy?
The guy who shows up to, where's my fiance?
He was good.
But supporting actress, actually, it might be, the dead wife in Pit and the Pendulum. Because when she comes back,
Barbara Steele,
she gives that like
that's
speech
Barbara Steele.
about adulterers and adulteresses. And that extended like thing to drive him over the top crazy. Yep. But it goes too far and it turns him into his dad because he looks at her and starts smiling and I'm like, oh, you're fucking all dead now. Oh, Vincent Price gonna murder you all.
No, that's yeah, that was a lot.
Not doing 8 movies next week.
We're not. We're probably going to do a lot less. We'll see.
We'll see.
It is, where is my thing? It's going to be September 17th, 1986. That is a random date that we picked.
Random. It's September, so
we're going to the 80s. So that was it. But no, this was actually a really fun episode. I really liked doing this.
Oh, yeah. When the fact we did those was really cool, and maybe if we can piece the other 3 in.
I just thought it was cool that they had those all 500
Yeah, when we saw those, we had to talk about it. Like, we're going to do this? I mean, sure.
And I'm like, when else are we going to do this? This is kind of why we're doing the podcast. We got to do something
and
weird
it worked.
like that.
And I think it led to a very long, cool 5-movie discussion where we get to compare things. Which I thought was fun.
Yeah, it was
and Jack Nicholson sucked in that movie.
I thought he was funny. I thought he was super funny in that movie.
God damn it. All I could do is think about him like, remember when he was good? Remember when I've seen him be fucking amazing in Cuckoo?
But he started as a B actor. That's what he was doing. He's fine. I know. He's good.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. And until next time. Oh, I did it again. Okay.
I'll let you survive.
I'm your host, Austin Kennedy.
I'm Tim Kaiser. See you next time.
You did it.
I did. Fuck you.
See you next time.
I see you next time.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time.
We will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.